What is happening, everybody? Welcome to Off the Rails, a recovery podcast dedicated to ending the stigma of addiction through open discussion on all things recovery related. My name is Mark, and with me today is Dave. Our man Jared is taking a personal day today, and today we're shooting the sober shit. What's happening, Dave?
Sir, not much, man. I'm a little stuffed up here. Allergy season's got me irritated today, but other than that, I'm doing well, man. Doing well. It was a nice weekend, nice weather here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and just living it. How about you?
Good, man. All
Yeah.
aces on this end.
Beauty. How was the week?
The week, pretty solid week. I'm trying to reflect on it. Oh yeah, so it's first time in ages I haven't had people over, like, visiting. I had my parents here like for the previous, I guess, 4 weeks almost. So it was cool, man. I'm back in my routine, helping out the soup kitchen, going to meetings,
Nice
doing some
to
sweet
have,
podcasting.
nice to have some time, just you and Rebecca, and Mila.
Yeah. Went out yesterday to these called dragon boat races here.
Oh yeah,
They were pretty sweet. It's like a really cool community event here. That was pretty awesome.
yeah. There's some people that are big into that, eh?
Yeah,
Like
the boats
legit.
the boats are cool, hey?
Yeah, they like legit teams and like take it pretty seriously.
Yeah.
Cool.
Man, we recorded a wicked episode on Thursday. I really enjoyed that. Dave reached out to a guest, and he's still a current doctor, and his episode is incredible. So hope you guys are looking forward to that episode as much as we are to release it. And again, incredible episode. Yeah, I really enjoyed chatting with him.
Yeah. It was cool. It was
awesome. Outside of that, we released a cool episode. But my week's been pretty standard, man, and I'm glad it has been. I needed it.
Yeah.
What about yourself, man?
Good week. I just wanted to say one thing. I'm proud that, obviously, love having Jared on for all of our episodes. You know, he's been super busy, and I just wanted to say quickly that I'm happy that he kind of took the time. He needed the night off. Obviously we want to have him on, but I'm glad he was like looking out for himself, first too. So I mean, proud of him for that. So it's not easy, you always want to do everything you can with everybody, and sometimes you just got to make sure you're not spreading yourself too thin, So I just wanted to say that quick. But
yeah, I couldn't agree more, man.
Yeah,
important to set those boundaries, and
yeah,
if you need time to yourself, you need time to yourself.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, man, my week was awesome. Pretty pumped. Started work at the old, it's called the Voyager. So anyone that's driving across Canada, about 40 minutes, 45 minutes northwest of the Sioux, and stop in, man. Stop in. It was a lot of fun. I think I texted you guys after work. I was like, man, I had so much fun. People come in. It's pretty simple, like pumping gas and like just chatting with people, just trying to give really good customer service. And it's awesome. You shoot the shit with people when they come in, hear where they're going to, hear about their stories. I don't know. It's awesome. I'm having a great time with it. And yeah, hearing some cool stories. People like, motorbiking across Canada, bicycling across Canada, chatting with them, just seeing where people are going. And, some people like to chat a little bit, and some people maybe a little grumpy and don't want to, which is fine. And yeah, it was cool. I only worked 2 days, like Friday, Saturday there. But yeah, it was cool. It was awesome. And I made a comment last episode, which I want to like clarify on or kind of talk about. I said it was kind of weird being a 40-year-old gas pumper. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to anyone that's doing anything like that. It's just like kind of where I've been at, and new chapter and doing it. It was just kind of like, it was weird for me kind of thinking about it. But yeah, I worked with this guy. He trained me. This Matt guy. I don't know how old he is. He's a little older than me. Great dude. Local guy, lives in Botswana, and fuck, he was just awesome dude to work with, hang out with, shoot the shit with, listen to a couple stories from him. Owners are really nice, great people. Couldn't be happier, man. Yeah, awesome apple fritters.
I was about to throw in an apple fritters advertisement there.
Man, it's like people come from like like everyone that stops almost is like going in and grab an apple fritter or two, like driving from Southern Ontario or wherever, and they've heard about these apple fritters. And in my opinion, they don't disappoint.
I look forward to trying one.
Yeah. Oh, it was closed. It wasn't open yet when you came in.
No, it wasn't, man. But someday I'm coming back to
Absolutely.
Atchawana Bay,
Yep.
going to the Voyager, getting an apple fritter.
You gots to.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, that was kind of my week. It was just but I will say this: after my shift on Friday, I worked 7 till 2, and I had a little nap after, and I woke up and I was extremely grumpy and irritable, and I settled in. It took me a little bit though, a couple hours really to kind of settle down. Everything was just pissing me off, but then I went and jumped in the lake and felt a little better. But I mean, as expected, I think, right? Like, haven't worked really that long in a while. So,
Man, that's a really good topic because, man, this morning I woke up, I was just in a foul mood, man.
yeah.
Horrible. And I did everything that like normally gets me out of it. I journaled, I did a meeting, went to the gym, and I still like, I was just like, felt like I was like white knuckling through everything this morning, just miserable. And basically, my question here is, does anyone have any techniques for when they are just feeling like dog shit, irritable, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah. I appreciate some feedback in the comments with that one, because
Yeah.
at the time I was sitting on the couch, and I was kind of thinking, because I don't have a lot of panic attacks. And I know you guys talked about them a little bit. So I was thinking about my breathing though. I'm like, can I treat it the same as like a panic attack almost, right? Where you're just having an emotional overload of kind of whatever, bad feelings, I don't know, whatever. You're in a bad head place. So I did work on some breathing a little bit, and I jumped in the lake, and
Do you find the breathing helped at all?
it did. Yeah, it did. It's hard to say though, because I like pretty much immediately got up after that and went outside and jumped in the water. So yeah, just try to change. I mean, people always say it too, right? Try to change your headspace, don't go down that negative road, whatever, but it's always easier said than done. I mean,
Yeah.
some days you could do it easier than others, but
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the breathing, I don't know why I never thought of that today. Should have. But I don't know, I think I'm in a better mood now, since we've been chatting and just being able to like kind of shoot the shit, and get it off your chest and kind of
talk it
that
out.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I am gonna be miserable today. I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna take in these shitty emotions and I'm just gonna deal with it today, make it through today, and tomorrow is a new day. Sometimes that works.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Actually, the one thing that was kind of cool too is the guy we have on this week, the interview, Adam, when he was talking about, he tries to realize that his mind, his brain, and his body is not really his, right? He's just kind of occupying it. I found that a cool concept. I actually read that kind of same sort of similar thing in a book called The Untethered Soul.
Ooh.
Pretty interesting. It was good. I have to reread that, because I think there's some things I really agree with in that book and some things that maybe I don't.
Mhm.
Like I remember there's one part of that book actually was like, well, if you want to quit smoking, just don't put this cigarette up to your mouth. And it's like, well, like,
A couple more factors, I think.
like, is it just that easy? So like, there's things like that that I don't necessarily agree with, but it had some cool viewpoints in there I really liked. So anyway, that being said, I lost my train of thought.
So Adam's episode's this week, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Banger episode dropping in a couple days.
Wicked.
Yeah. Awesome dude, man.
I will, anyone listening that's listening to this is going to watch it. You will not be sorry. It's amazing. The audio, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it yet, Mark. It's not the cleanest, but trust us to battle through it, because phenomenal story he has and insight and just great, wicked dude. So
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good episode, man.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, we also had, who's up, Dave? We had Nick
Yes.
from Oracle City drop on Thursday. And another great episode, super cool person. How'd you find her episode?
I thought she was pretty bright person, very well spoken, and it's the first time I heard that sober curious kind of term, or at least have someone kind of talk about it. I liked her talking about like the gray zone, because the gray zone of drinking, because I kind of think anyone that drinks is probably is in some kind of gray zone.
Yeah.
So maybe managing that to a lesser degree, if you can. If you don't want to totally quit drinking, is positive, but if you've gone a certain percentage too far, and you can't ever get back into that once into a lower number. You kind of talked about numbers, right? Like rating yourself from 1 to 100. Like if you can't keep yourself consistently at like a low number in your life, and you're constantly at like, numbers are arbitrary, like 75, 80, 85, 90, 100, whatever you want to call it, and you're more there, then you probably need to kind of cut it out, right? So
yeah, that was one of my favorite takeaways from it too, how like she doesn't like identify like fully as like an alcoholic or whatever, but she had like the foresight to see that it was probably becoming a problem and had to address it. And I think from experience, if you can do that, props to you, because it doesn't normally get better from the point where you start thinking you're having a problem.
Yeah.
Right? Do you agree with that one?
100, couldn't agree more. And we kind of had that analogy. I know you and I talked about a little bit with like, I don't know, maybe not to get into it, but if you kind of, not to compare, addiction to cancer directly or whatever, but like, you have your stages of cancer, and obviously like your stage 4 terminal would be at the end of both of them would be death, I guess, right? But if you're in a stage 1, stage 2, you have a better chance of recovery if you get on it and work on it proactive and not let it slip anymore, and that kind of thing. Not saying you're out of the woods, but I think there are similar parallels.
Yeah, there's sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, not trying to compare the two by any means. They're not the same thing. They're not one. I'm just
Yeah, they both have that continuum, right, where they progressively get worse.
Yeah.
And the earlier you can get it and treat it, the higher success rate. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what we're getting at here? Because I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. No, you nailed it.
You gave me the lob.
Well, I went on a tangent. You kind of wrapped it all up into a little
basket.
Knocked it out of the park there.
Shit, yeah, man. Yeah, her episode was sweet. She always has these like videos of her dancing on Instagram, and like she has like this contagious positive attitude. I find like when I see them, I instantly am like it makes me smile, and I don't know. I think that's amazing to see, and it'd be cool if a lot more people, were just like that.
Yeah, and then the astrology stuff she's into and all that's not up my alley. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's awesome. It's just not something I'm familiar with, and so anyone that's kind of into that stuff too should check it out, because even if you don't have an issue with substance abuse or anything, just she's got other tools on our website too that are kind of cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know even close to enough about astrology to even talk about it, because it would just be pure ignorance.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because we had her on, and then a couple days later, I had someone shared at like a meeting, and they were talking about how they struggle with higher power, and then they started thinking about higher power as astrology, and I was like, haha, well, I got a friend for you.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a cool way for them to look at it, because it could help you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have any questions today?
I do. Yeah. Yeah. You want a couple questions?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And why don't you go first on the questions? I gotta get my nose all sorted out here. Sorry, didn't mean to trigger you.
I was gonna. No, my nose, like, especially this side right here, is just always in horrible shape. It's still healing and just miserable. It's always running.
Yeah.
So.
Any word on your? Oh, I got my mountain bike this week too. Any word on your bike?
I'm still waiting for it to get in, man. I can't. I can't wait. I want to set like a challenge for July type thing. Yeah. Hopefully, I get it before July, and set like a kilometer thing to try to check off. You into it?
I'm down.
Okay.
Now remember, kilometer wise though, I'm going to be doing more like hilly terrain. So can my kilometers be a little less?
Absolutely, yeah. There's not very many hills in this town.
Okay.
There's like a valley right in the center of the town, which I got a bike to get to the soup kitchen. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
But it's probably like the height of your driveway. So.
Okay.
Bit higher.
I went up my driveway. I was winded.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That was steep. I can't wait to get my bike. Now I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
Here's my first question. What are 3 things you can do to improve your self-confidence?
Off the top of my head would be the self-affirmations, which I quite honestly don't do, but should do. Because I think they are beneficial. Just one of those things that I guess you could just say lazy, to be quite honest with. I would say back to exercising and eating, man. Like I think I mentioned to you before, like the first day after I worked out, I was like, oh, man, I feel good.
Yeah.
And then you feel like a beast. And then I kind of looked at in the mirror after, for some reason, I think before I was going to the shower or something, like thinking that all of a sudden I've lost, 30 pounds, and it doesn't instantly happen, but at least you put yourself in a good mindset.
Yeah.
So I think that's positive. That'd be a good one. With that, I would kind of accompany that with like nutrition as well. Third one, I would say conversation with people, because I always find when I'm like quiet for a long period of time and not kind of opening up, I get down, so whether it's with family or whatever, and I just find myself in such a good mood after work when I was just chatting with people all day. And it was the same thing kind of when I was on the ice teaching, when I remember starting out as like an assistant instructor, and I would try to tell people later on, as soon as you get on the ice, start talking to the kids, because the longer you go without really speaking and you're just out there, you kind of lose your confidence. You don't open up after that. So I think that's, I don't know. I'll make it back to you on a 3 after you give me yours, but that's kind of what came to my
And I
head.
think that conversation one is incredible because, man, when I'm like silent, I get in my own head big time.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of times, like those self-confidence, like, or confidence in anything really is just like my own fucking negative thoughts in my head, like beat myself up. Whereas if you just talk to someone about it, I find out that it's just like, it's actually me. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's that's an awesome point, man.
Yeah. One of the biggest things I probably want to work on over years, because I turned into that very closed off person over time. I'm like a pretty quiet person in general, but I mean, it got worse through my addiction, and we're just like really keeping myself a lot, not opening up really at all. So
yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah.
Anytime I experienced like, I guess, negative emotion, I would close off and not talk about it, or I wouldn't really know how to communicate it effectively, I don't think.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm trying to work on as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit tougher. It's tough, easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I'm going affirmations as well.
Okay.
I also had exercise. Both of those help a lot.
Yeah.
Really relate to the mirror thing. I seen a photo of me yesterday out having a picnic, and I was rotted. I'm like, you fatso, Mark. And I beat myself up all night about it.
Yeah.
And I was just in my own head and being like, ugh. Which is crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
I know what you mean, but I think we generally always pick on ourselves about everything, right? So
yeah, I think so too. And then I had to remind myself how to do the positive affirmations. I'm like, you're doing what you need to do to get in shape. So it's a process. You're not just going to get back in shape overnight. Right. Yeah. So like, keep going to the gym, keep eating well. Right. So I had to start combating those negative thoughts, being like,
well, I will say this. I saw a picture of you and I thought you looked great.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Guess I'm a big words of affirmation guy, and that Dave knows that. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Third one, man, I think I like reading, man. Really helps. It makes me feel more sharp. And I feel like when I feel sharp, I'm more confident. And I think like reading instead of watching TV really helps me.
Yeah.
You feel that way?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I go in spurts with my reading, and I bought a book to kind of get into the other day. And it's on like breathing actually. And so I want to get into that, but that was actually going to be that did come to my head for my number 3, but I felt kind of like a hypocrite because I haven't been that great with it lately. So
yeah.
I went off with that one, but yeah, I couldn't agree more with that too. Just reading, keep your mind sharper, learning about stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Stuff is great,
It is. Learning stuff. Awesome.
Yeah.
Dave, what's your first question? Dave?
All right.
Mark?
Well, I have a question here, but I don't know if I should wait for this one till after the interview we did on Thursday airs.
Okay, yeah.
So let me ask it, and then if we decide not to, then I'll just cut this out. I was going to ask you if the same question I had asked the guest we had on, if they were to say, let's say, develop a pill for you to take that would solve your addiction issues. And obviously this is all hypothetical, so I can't tell you if, you can still use or anything like that. Maybe let's just say you can't use, actually. We'll go with that. You can have a pill, it cures you from having any sort of addiction issues clean, right from wherever you are. Would you want to take that pill? Or would you prefer to kind of do it the way you did it? And I say this because of kind of how much I've learned through myself in this process of going through rehab and really rehab, being about learning about yourself and what's going on. So anyway, would you take that pill, I guess? And maybe you can put like stipulations in there on it as well. Do you know what I'm getting at?
I absolutely do, man. But I agree with you. I think, um, yeah, it's a fucking awesome question. So, like, at what phase of addiction would I take this? Like before I went to rehab, and I'm just like, boom, I can manage my life and still, or
Yeah,
I
but I
have
guess
no
like,
desire to use.
yeah, but I guess my thing would be like that sounds great. And obviously, yeah, everyone want to do that. But let's say you take it and now um you haven't, worked on anything of your issues from maybe you
Yeah,
had childhood issues or relationship issues or whatever. You haven't really done any of that work on yourself. So now, you might have
I'm
taken this
still
pill.
miserable.
You're still miserable. Yeah, you're still not in a good place. You're just not coping with that. So maybe your life isn't that enjoyable either because you're just kind of going through life now without that problem, but not self-medicating. But I don't know, yeah, I don't know.
No, that's a really tough question, I think. But I'm tending more to agree on the side of like I'm so happy with like the amount of work I've done on myself in the last year. And
Yeah,
like headspace wise, I don't think I've ever been in as good a place. Um I'm shit, man. Like I remember when like my mental health was so like I guess so messed up that like if I had a good day, and this might not make sense if you don't struggle with like daily, I guess, anxiety and depression, like if I had a good day, it would be shocking, right?
yeah,
And like I thought about that this morning when I was super depressed this morning, and I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I used to feel like this every single day,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
I reflected on how that's how I felt every day, and now I have more good days than I do bad, right? And it's not even close.
yeah,
And I think I'm able to do that because of like the work that I've put in over the last year.
yeah.
And I don't know, man. Change. I don't think I'd change about how I went about it.
Well, and that's another good point is that that pill wouldn't cure your. I mean, this is all hypothetical again, but not gonna cure your depression and
Yeah,
anxiety and stuff like that either, right? I mean, you
yeah.
can take other
It's
medications for it, but
not
yeah,
going to help with any underlying issues, right?
yeah.
It's like
Well,
almost like a
maybe,
band aid.
maybe it'd be different if like you take this when you're 10 years old and it stops anything from developing um further and learning how to deal with things properly, I guess. I don't know. But yeah.
That's a sweet question. So, guys, if you were able to take a pill that just cured your addiction, would you take it?
Would you take it?
Okay, I got my
Well,
next question.
yeah, let's do it.
Where would you like to be 1 year from now?
Good question. Good question. Phew, very good question. I like to be well. One, I'd like to be sober.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Uh, it's interesting because a lot of times, you're taught to have these, 5-year plans, year plan, 5-year, 10-year plans on where you're going to be. And really found myself lately, over the last few months, just kind of taking things day by day with sobriety, obviously, but also with just how my life is going to go, and really trusting that things are going to happen and the way they're supposed to, and just kind of going along with the ride. I don't know that previously I would have maybe, let's say, taken on this job as a gas pumper because I did it when I was in high school and maybe my ego would have been too big, thinking that I'm like above this or something like that. But in reality, yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm learning about myself still, meeting great people. Maybe I meet someone that opens the door for whatever, right? So I like to be, like to have a few other things checked off on my list on where I'm at. But sober for sure would be one. And then, I'd like to be settled into my own place and in a good routine with that. As far as work or anything like that, relationships, I'm gonna let those just kind of come as they will, and not try to kind of push that. I've always found that too with women. I've always tried to think I need that person in my life to make me happy, and really I just need to make sure I'm happy. And I've known that all along, sort of, to an extent where,
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
you know what I mean? Where it's like, who's going to be happy with me long term if I'm not happy with myself? Who can love me if I'm not? So I've always known that deep down, but I'm finally now like, that person that, that lucky lady will come around sometime, but I need to make sure that I'm in the best place I can be so that I can give her the best version of myself, because that woman will deserve that. So yeah.
Absolutely, man.
You?
Man, it's really interesting that I had like your initial thought of like taking it one day at a time. It kind of like I have goals now, but it's not like I'm not planning for like 5 years. Like they're not like set times. I got like goals of like wanting to work in addictions, and I'm doing things on a day by day basis to kind of go in that direction, right?
Right.
So they're not like set in stone dates, but so it's cool. I like focusing on a day at a time, honestly.
Yeah.
And kind of working towards my goal one day at a time, and kind of checks them off, right?
Yeah.
So yes, like you, I would like to be sober first and foremost. That way I can be an amazing father to Mila.
Yes, sir.
Best. She deserves me at my best, and that is how that will happen. And not only for her, for myself, I deserve to be the best version of myself as well. It just doesn't happen if I'm doing drugs. I would like to be working in the addictions field by then. I think that's achievable. Start my okay, stop saying
I'll cut it out.
Thanks, buddy.
Don't worry about it.
I'm starting my second course tomorrow
Nice.
on addictions and concurrent disorders. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah.
What? I just keep saying
Oh, I don't even realize. I do it.
Yeah.
I do it also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much it, man.
You're gonna not stop now.
I can't. I am so aware of myself saying it's wild. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for a year's time. I'm panicking.
Yeah. We used to have this guy in college, his teacher, and we used to count how many times he said "by way of." And then one class, he finally called someone out because we were laughing, and we told him. And then he started teaching again, and he was like, said it, and he was like, "Oh man, I do say that a lot." And he was like, he had like a break. Imagine that, like, you've been teaching for so long, and then he didn't have a breakdown, but he was like, you could tell him struggling after to kind of.
Yeah, it's probably his go-to phrase.
Yeah. Yeah. I think his name was Ernie. I could be wrong on that, but great. I loved him. He was awesome. But anyway.
Shout out, Ernie.
Shout out if that was his name.
Yeah, Rebecca told me, I said, when we first started the podcast, I was saying, a lot.
Yeah.
And,
I know I say like a lot.
But lately I've just been saying and a lot, which
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
So I'm trying to work on it, guys. Bear with us.
Yeah.
Bear with me, sorry.
Well,
you have a third question?
I was thinking, should we wrap her up here to get on to the...
Absolutely. Absolutely, we can. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please reach out and ask for help. Subscribe. Also, there's another video somewhere down here. Yeah. Subscribe, like, follow, all the cool stuff. Share it with your friends. Thanks for listening, guys.